Hey, it's Dominic D'Angelo. It's rumored innuendo. That is not Robert Karplis. That is my cat Razor. We are live though here on adfreeshows.com, SEScoopsX.com, and I'm a part of OneTrueSportTV.com. But happy to be here with you guys today. Robert will be showing up. He's wrapping up another assignment that he has, but he'll be here shortly. We got a lot to talk about today, and happy to be doing it with you guys here. Big Monday for pro wrestling. The history of pro wrestling is going to be changing after tonight, and what a leap it is taking when Raw goes to Netflix. So we'll be chatting about that. We'll be chatting about SmackDown and a lot of the surrounding elements that are going on when it comes to Netflix. Let's give some shout outs to some folks here on this Monday. Johnny Disco says, good day, R&I. Looking forward to Raw on Netflix tonight, just for the card, not just for the card, but to see how they handle streaming the show. Absolutely, 100%. It's going to be very exciting. Triple E says, what's up? It's Tiffy time. What are y'all predictions for Cena's first night of his tour? Interesting. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that. Dom, why'd you stop wrestling writing on Substack? Or are you sticking with SE Scoops? I still doing it. Still doing the wrestling writing. It's been a while since I've done a column on there, but gonna bounce back with some of that stuff. But I'll give some details to plug a little bit when Robert gets here after the end of the show about what I'm doing when it comes to One True Sport and everything like that. Robert, how are you? Good to see you. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Happy Netflix Raw Monday. What a big day. We will never forget where we were on January 6th when Raw storms Netflix. I'm excited to be here. Sorry for being just a moment late on this, Dom, but I'm sure you had everything completely under control. I did not see a single damn it Dom scrolling on there. So
that's right, Robert. It's good to be here. Good to be here. What a historical Monday this is for pro wrestling. We have a lot of good people chatting in on here. Alt Jake says, so SmackDown was awesome live. Yeah, Alt Jake. Give us your perspective of what you saw in the chat here, and we'll pop it up here. Draylon says, hello, let's Netflix and Raw. I like it. Jeff Ettinger says, tonight's the first night of not watching the end of Law and Order before Raw. Wow, that's a good point.
First of all, Jeff, no. I'm taking umbrage with that. We all know that it's been either one of the Chicagos.
Yes.
That's been on before, or there was a 911 because you were seeing how Jennifer Love Hewitt looks a lot different now than she did in Can't Hardly Wait.
I haven't seen what Jennifer Love Hewitt looks like now, so I don't know. I can't weigh in on that.
What is it? Time does no jobs. Is that what they say?
Is that the term in wrestling?
Let's go with that.
Yeah, we got a lot to cover today. We'll obviously hit Netflix here.
Why are you wearing gloves? What is going on?
I had my Sherpa Canadian jacket on too, but I took that off. I left the gloves on though, just for the homelessness aspect of leaving that rumor linger a little bit.
Lou, by the way, Lou 4237 throwing out the I miss La Femme Nikita. No, you don't.
I never saw an episode of that.
Nobody liked that show. Nobody watched that show. I'm moving. I can't tell if I'm delayed or you're delayed.
I don't know. You're completely caught up with me, so I don't know.
Yeah, then there's a lag on your end, which is fine. I'm here in a different locale. Maybe this works a little better.
Oh, I liked it. It was almost the shot from Goodfellas that was going on.
Yes, that was what I was looking to do. It was going to be an unbroken shot for 7 minutes. We've got a ton of stuff to talk about here. I don't know why the coloring got all weird and funky, but here we are.
Yes. Robert, SmackDown, new era SmackDown happens 3 hours. What are your overall thoughts on the 3 hours of SmackDown? And then we'll get into the little nitty gritty of the happenings that went on there too.
Well, I think the overall are the nitty gritties of it, which is I don't know how sustainable a 3 hour SmackDown is going to be with this current existing crew, but they pulled enough bells and whistles and special moments to make it feel like an epic show. I think starting with a Cody Drew encounter that for me kind of felt like a preview of what SmackDown's going to look like going forward once there's the transfer portal or whatever. Drew called it the portal gimmick.
Yeah.
But that's a fresh matchup. Seeing Drew McIntyre and Cody wrestling one another, that's not something we've seen in a while. So I think that was an interesting choice. I think utilizing Paul Heyman for a promo in person rather than just doing a video package was helpful. And there was a lot of nuance, a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of little breadcrumbs that I think Paul sprinkled into that promo to add further intrigue going forward. And then obviously having Tiffany Stratton cash in and finally beat Nia Jax was a really good decision.
It was a good red herring too that they pulled. Like they acted like Tiffany was helping out Nia. She did help out Nia, and then ultimately though she didn't, and became the new champion. So it was a nice thing. The crowd was really into it, and very excited to see what Tiffany's able to do with that championship and kind of elevate the women's SmackDown division on there. There's a lot of
that's the advantage. You're going into Royal Rumble, and it kind of feels like what we are going to wind up getting between Tiffany Stratton and what we may see tonight are some new faces holding titles in the women's division, which allows the intrigue for the Royal Rumble to ramp up even more.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Real quick with McIntyre, did they make some? I read on, I don't know if this is accurate or not, but I read on a site that he's part of the SmackDown brand. Did they make that any kind of confirmation or anything like that?
I have not seen anything official. I know that he's utilizing the transfer portal. They have not explained how the transfer portal actually works. They've kind of teased with Gable and American Made popping up on SmackDown. We've seen Sami Zayn on SmackDown quite a bit of late. We're obviously going to see tonight on Raw, Roman Reigns is going to be on there. Maybe Cody Rhodes, since it is the first episode of Raw on Netflix. So it's something that I'm critical of both companies on when they do it poorly, which is not defining your rules, your rules of your narrative universe. The audience wants to be able to follow along, understand what they're watching, and when you don't let them do that, they disconnect. It's the old rule of if I feel stupid, I'm just not going to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's some other cool takeaways I'll say from SmackDown. To what you were saying, they got to fill this 3 hours and stuff like that. But it gave some opportunities to create some new intrigue with some guys and gals that we haven't been really as well acquainted with. I would say like Santos Escobar got a little bit of time to kind of cut an angle. We had great stuff I thought with Shinsuke Nakamura and the presentation of him, and other elements too coming into play when it comes to some of the women's division too. Motor City Machine Guns in that tag division, pretty deadly. There's some names that they kind of put a footnote on it. I thought Solo also did a very nice job as with a promo with Paul Heyman as well. So I think there's some cool elements coming into play for SmackDown. They got some legwork to do when it comes to making them feel as big as this Raw is going to be, but we'll see what happens there, Rob.
I think the most intriguing for me was some of the beats in the Heyman promo.
Uh-huh.
The idea that the way that Paul Heyman recapped everything that we had seen, the idea that we had been grooming Solo to be the next tribal chief, we know is nonsense. Even at the time, it was a way for them to try to manipulate and keep Solo when they had already lost Jey Uso, and they were like, we got to do whatever we can. So it wasn't an earnest thing. It was very heelish. Then when he talks about what happened at the main event of WrestleMania 40, that Roman Reigns did not lose to Cody Rhodes. What happened was Roman was so consumed with revenge on Seth Rollins that he was distracted, and Cody took advantage of that distraction. Again, very heel.
Yes.
And the way that he's talking to Solo, and then Solo saying, you're going to be the guy to hold the Unifala, it kind of feels like when Paul Bearer was holding the urn. And it was Mankind and Undertaker, and he turns on Undertaker and he anoints Mankind, simply because Paul Heyman has a little bit of an ego to him, which rightfully so. He's a creative genius in wrestling. And if Solo loses tonight on Netflix, where do you go with him? He would have lost the Unifala. He lost his world title match against Cody. He's now just a guy. If Heyman were to align himself with Solo and with Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa and Jacob Fatu, guys that Heyman identified as being unwanted outcasts, which was the entirety of what ECW was, it fits his motif. And then Heyman supporting those guys allows Solo to have some juice going forward. And we know The Rock is going to be there. We know The Rock is going to play some role in this situation. If it is The Rock and Solo, then it's Paul Heyman ingratiating himself to a TKO board member. And you're ensuring, yeah, Paul's going to be part of whatever the biggest story is in wrestling, no matter what.
Yeah, I know we said this in group text. I don't want to see that.
I know you don't want to see that, and you're not necessarily supposed to want to see that. But Heyman being involved in this helps further if they decide to get to, let's say, Roman Reigns versus The Rock at WrestleMania, and then him backing Solo Sikoa and whatever Solo is going to do at WrestleMania feels that more impactful. When that all blows up, Heyman winding up with Jacob Fatu, as Fatu being the next sort of Brock Lesnar. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. It's just that's a path that they've opened up to go down. There is very possible we're going to get happy, happy, joy, joy. Heyman anoints Roman Reigns, puts the necklace on him, and then we get to whatever the next big story is.
Yeah. Well, we got some other big stories to hit upon this week. And before we dive into what's going to happen on Raw with Netflix here, we'll touch upon what is surrounding Raw with Netflix. And that includes what Triple H had to say about the content people can expect. He was speaking with Sports Illustrated, Jimmy Traina of Sports Illustrated, and he said, this will be family-friendly programming, just like it's always been, PG programming. The whole, I need somebody to swear in a movie to make it the movie good. I get it. There are certain genres that things that need that, all that giving away more importance. It's a rating and a brand that makes you feel a certain way, so people get excited about that. We want to be very conscientious of making this where you're not on there watching with your kid being like, I shouldn't be exposing him to this. Are we going to push the envelope here and there? Sure, but nothing that is going to be that turn you off as a viewer. Robert, do you agree with that assessment? That decision to kind of, hey, it's still PG programming, but we are going to push the envelopes here and there.
Yeah, I think that we have seen, especially in the last year, they were able to tell incredible stories that are engrossing without losing the PG moniker. And when you push the envelope a little bit, like the Rock promo last year where he left Cody bloodied outside in the rain, that felt impactful. If you saw blood every single week, it wouldn't feel that special. If you heard profanity every single week, it wouldn't feel that special.
AEW.
That's where I was going with that, Dom. Thank you. I was having a conversation with someone who was saying he can't watch AEW if his child's near because he never knows what's necessarily going to happen, where there may be an incredibly extreme moment on this show that I don't want to have to explain to my kid why they're putting a plastic bag over somebody's head or why there's constant blood across the, across the screen. So you want to make it as broad and advertiser friendly as possible, as audience friendly as possible. You want people to feel I can go bring my kids to this show. It's going to be an entertaining show, but it's not going to put me in a very awkward position. And guys, no, I'm kidding. No, kidding. If for whatever reason stuff starts to get stale and they need to spruce it back up, yes, they can always move the goalpost a little bit. But right now they're selling replica titles. They're selling toys. They're selling merchandise. Everything's going great for them. There's no reason to really rock the boat. And I watched the Wrestle Dynasty, the New Japan AEW show a little bit because everyone was like, you got to see this Kenny Omega Gabe Kidd match. And those of you working stiff Patreon subscribers heard myself and Scott Chapman. We went in depth on it. But one of the things that's so strange when you watch a New Japan product is they're letting expletives fly. Both Gabe Kidd and Kenny dropping F-bombs there, and it does lose its impact a little bit. With the 8th, 9th, 10th time in a match, you're hearing somebody, throw out an F-bomb. You're like, all right, we get it.
Yeah. It's a little all that stuff. New Japan really defined that cursing and everything like that when it
Well,
comes
it's because
to
they didn't. They took advantage of the fact that they knew the audience didn't know what they were saying.
right. But I'm with you, Robert. I think this is totally fine to do. Push the envelope when needed. It makes it feel more significant. If you drop a curse word here and there, it's not going to destroy the whole world. But the family members don't necessarily have to be on their toes, like trying to think of, okay, my gosh, when can I let my kid watch this and stuff like that. So,
And look, I get it. This isn't pearl clutching or anything like that.
no,
But they do have to think a little bit about, at least for AEW's sake, growing their audience. Dre Owen says right here, if AEW toned down, geared towards kids, they could start to turn things around. We were both hooked as wrestling fans as kids.
yeah.
And the product that I grew up watching matured as I got older. But when I was a little kid, it was Hulk Hogan and it was a cartoon come to life. And when you get those younger fans and they're fans forever, that's how you build an audience. AEW is taking an existing audience and they're giving them something that they feel they're catering to them, but they aren't expanding by going after kids. They aren't expanded by going after families, but at the same time, they don't care about the money aspect of it a little bit because it's all Tony Khan's money.
That's it. It's all about the monies. Speaking of all about the monies, real quick, and speaking of Hulk Hogan, WWE announced a partnership with Real American Beer. Every week on Monday, Real American Beer will be advertised on the Raw canvas. This is a multi-year partnership with Hulk Hogan and WWE, and it really speaks to what the game plan is here, maybe moving forward. Hogan's reportedly scheduled to be there tonight for Raw. Robert, what do you think of this relationship? Is it a savvy move on WWE's part? Is it contradictory? Where's your whole thought process lie on that?
I mean, right now, Hogan has been, for the most part, on decent behavior. He had a few moments during the campaign that were very embarrassing and uncomfortable for his associations, given the accusations that have been lobbied against Hulk in the past. But he does have a product that's out there. It's in the stream of commerce. He is a WWE Hall of Famer. They're not using the Ric Flair Woo Energy drink. AEW did that. So I think this will be a chance for him to sell some beer. I don't think they're suddenly going to put Hogan on TV every week. I don't think that he's going to be integral to storylines. But if it's your first episode of Raw on Netflix and you want to bring in as many big names as possible to say, we have Hulk Hogan there, we have The Rock there, we have whoever else may be floating around. I know that, there were rumors that Steve Austin was going to be there and then he was not going to be there. We don't know. You're going to tune in and you're going to see, you're still going to get John Cena on the show tonight. You're going to get a Roman Reigns match. You're basically getting a fake WrestleMania card. The three of those matches would have been potential Mania main events.
Yes. Hey, hopefully everybody's gonna smell pretty good in that arena coming up tonight because
I don't know what this transition is.
It's a new year. It's a new year, and it's gonna be a new wrestling fan, hopefully, that smells good. With Mando, Robert. I know I didn't send him the ad copy.
You did not send me this, and I'm like, are you going into business for yourself? What is going on here? I'm like, something smelled fishy, but it probably doesn't smell fishy. Mr. Dominic D'Angelo, because he, like all of you, utilizing Mando.
That's right. Whole body deodorant it is. It's safe to use anywhere on your body. The pits, the balls, the thighs, belly buttons, butt cracks, whatever, brother. Created by doctors who saw firsthand normal BO was misdiagnosed and mistreated. But Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like a mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. And as a special offer for our listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off of your starter pack. You just use promo code RUMOR at shopmando.com. That's SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show and tell them that me and Robert sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence this new year from head to toe with Mando. All right, Robert. Confidence is going to be boosted tonight for Netflix, hopefully, because we have Raw on Netflix. Should be a fun show. Quite the lineup, Robert. Like you said, this is a mini WrestleMania basically going here. It's headlined by a tribal combat match. Roman Reigns taking on Solo Sikoa, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. Women's championship match on the line here. Last women standing, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley. John Cena going to be there. Logan Paul returning. Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre. And The Rock is scheduled to appear as well.
All that was, I'm pretty sure there was a pre-tape last week where New Day challenged the LWO.
Oh, so there.
I don't know if that's happening this week or not. I know that was something they did. They threw out a challenge last week. Every segment on this show is going to be stacked. There is not going to be any moment or match where you're like, I wish I could fast forward through this. I think this is going to be them putting their best foot forward, and we're going to get a pretty good idea of where this company is going to Mania. They're going to definitely set up one, if not two, big matches coming off of this. John Cena's promo is easy. It is, I'm going into the Royal Rumble. I'm going to be the whatever, and I'm eventually going to retire, but I'm not going to finish until I have proven my my worth here in 2025. I want to win the title one last time. I want to break the record, whatever. Maybe that's an opportunity for a younger guy to come out there and say, hey, I'm going to be the guy to eliminate you. Or Gunther coming out there and saying, you win this, who cares? You're not going to be able to beat me. So that's kind of fun. Obviously, Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa, all eyes on that. Will this set up Roman Reigns versus The Rock? Will we see Paul Heyman's allegiance? Will we see a clean finish? And then setting up the rumor, I know there's rumors about a Roman Reigns CM Punk match. Or a triple threat match with Cody. So many options. And I think Punk and Seth will just be a fun match.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you expect any other surprises that we aren't privy to tonight? Or do you think what they will deliver will just deliver and be sufficient enough?
Well, I think we thought The Rock was going to be a surprise, and then he went ahead and just announced it.
Yeah.
So good for Dwayne. I guess, hey, maximize getting those eyeballs on there. He was part of the Golden Globes last night with his daughter, NXT GM, Ava, which was cool.
Yeah.
He built a pretty good feud last night with Vin Diesel.
Right.
That was a lot of fun. The hey Dwayne, man, that was good.
Mm-hmm.
If they could get that in the ring, they'd make some damn money. Some people suggesting here possibility of Pentagon Jr. Christopher Simmons suggesting here showing up on this show. Wrestling Old Head teasing a Braun Breaker John Cena confrontation. So I don't know that you necessarily need Penta for this show. I get the urge. I get the desire. Hey, we got a lot of eyeballs. Let's throw somebody new out there. But like you said, you've got Logan Paul on the show. You've got John Cena on the show. You've got The Rock on the show. You've got Hulk Hogan on this show. Those are taking up some segments. You've got 4 matches, potentially 5 matches announced. Do you want to lose Penta in the mix, or do you want to save that for when it's going to be impactful? For that's your week 2 surprise,
right? Yeah.
The Braun Breaker John Cena confrontation. They've kind of teased Braun as this tweener, almost babyface. I think him and Cena, given that Braun Breaker is the Intercontinental Champion, we don't want to see John Cena go after the Intercontinental title, and I don't think we necessarily want either one of those guys to be booed.
Yeah.
So I get the intrigue, but I don't know.
I want to see a little teaser, like you said earlier, with him and Gunther. I think would be the best route to take at this juncture. Whether Cena wins the Rumble or not, or they face each other at WrestleMania or not, I just think that sets a nice table for both of them. And like, ooh, okay, all right, maybe that might happen. So
look, all I want is that I want the stream to be working. I don't want any issues for them. This is why Dom is not setting up the Netflix stream.
That's right.
So we should be fine.
That's what's good. That's another great thing about Raw tonight. They don't have Monday Night Football to worry about tonight. It's a clean slate. So what a kind of good way to start for WWE in this streaming service going forward. So good stuff, Robert. Should be fun. I'm excited. Hopefully they won't have any issues going into that, but we'll see.
It should be an absolute blast. What I'm curious to see from your end is the reactions to all those folks that you have a chance to talk with every week. First and foremost, Mr. Rob Van Dam.
That's right. in RVD. We recorded last week. Great episode. He talks about, I forgot to mention this last week too. He talks about meeting LeVar Burton and what he learned from LeVar Burton from reading Rainbow, of all things. It's really great, great story. But he also dives into Raw on Netflix a little bit. Talks about Jerry Lynn interview that went down. Really, really great stuff too, and breaks down his perspective on that. That's available right now on rvdtv.com and will be available everywhere at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, wherever you get your damn podcast. That new episode will be there too. So be on the lookout for that. Also wanted to make the reveal too, or the announcement that One True Sport has paired with Brass Ring Media. So if you're looking for some more written content, some more live streaming content, you can check out onetruesporttv.com, and they'll give you some after show analysis and all that stuff. So very happy to have that gang on board there too. Robert, you had a busy weekend with Scott Chaplin. You mentioned watching Wrestle Dynasty. Scott, went in depth on that and a lot of other stuff too.
Yeah, myself and Scott Chaplin talked. We did our main Working Stiff show, which you can catch iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. For the Patreon, he's like, you got to watch Wrestle Dynasty. You got to see this Gabe Kidd, Kenny Omega match. We talked all about the ramifications going on with AEW, with New Japan, the mess that their situation is. We also talked a little bit about the 3-hour SmackDown and some of our predictions of who we think could win the Royal Rumble. It was an absolute blast. You can catch that on the Working Stiff Patreon, but you can catch us here tomorrow talking all things the Raw on Netflix debut and any other exciting news stories that pop up in the world of sports entertainment every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern on a plethora of platforms, and Dom got them all up there today, including the WWE Creative _ish X account, the @Dominic D'Angelo X account, the @SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on Working Stiff ad-free shows. And I don't even know what the heck this third one is.
Is it mine?
I don't know. Yeah, it's yours. We put yours in there instead of the Rumor and Innuendo one.
Oh, really?
Dom, good. Yes, a one last damn it, Dom, before we can get out of here today. But that's okay. Also, since I just realized now at the end of the show, not at the beginning, what hat you're wearing, I hate you. I hate the Jets.
What a finish. What a finish.
Awful. Absolutely awful.
Oh, that's right.
Dolphin blue.
Your team.
Yeah, thanks. Oh, I'm excited for yesterday. I'm like, the booking is like great. We're getting to the last. And then the Jets beat the. Football is stupid. Professional football is stupid. The Gators ones were good. Wrestling is the only true sport worth watching. The singular true sport, if I'm threading that needle perfectly. So, yes. So, on behalf of the homeless pirate Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpelis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Ahoy there. Set sail to Netflix.